The signal came like a whisper through the stars, but it echoed like a scream across 5 galaxies. It repeated the same phrase in dozens of languages, spoken by a cold, synthetic voice. The humans are mobilizing. At first, no one believed it. Ships ignored it. Space stations filtered it out, but it didn't stop. It played again and again, bouncing from system to system. And then, someone traced it to the edge of known space, just outside the ghost belt, where no ships ever returned from. That's when panic spread like fire. In the council chamber of the Galactic Concord, high above the gas world of Thelium-9, the greatest alien minds of the galaxy gathered in alarm. The Velkari Chancellor clicked her claws nervously on the table. "This is impossible," she hissed. "Humans were wiped out during the Great Purge. We saw their last cities burn. We confirmed the kill." A Threx diplomat, his skin pulsing, with purple light, leaned forward. "Maybe we missed something. A deep vault, a hidden moon. Some survived." "Or," said the Zor warlord from his massive iron chair, "it's a trap, a trick, meant to draw us out." The room buzzed with tension. No one liked talking about the humans. Too dangerous, too wild, too determined. The purge had been brutal, but necessary. Or so they had told themselves. Yet now, after nearly 100 years of silence, this message echoed through their networks like a ghost returning for vengeance. Far away, beyond the reach of their eyes, an asteroid drifted quietly in the dark. It looked like nothing, a rock among rocks. But inside, deep within its metal heart, a red light blinked for the first time in 87 years. Machines stirred, power hummed, and in the center of a sealed chamber, a glass pod hissed open. A small human child lay inside, her breath shallow, her eyes closed. She looked no older than 10, her skin pale, her body thin like a memory frozen in time. Then, her eyes snapped open. Bright blue, awake, confused, and very much alive. Mechanical arms gently lifted her from the pod. A voice spoke from above, calm, robotic, yet somehow warm. Subject 47A, awakening complete, vital signs stable, initiating neural reboot, EA. Girl blinked slowly. Her name, what was her name, she didn't remember, but images flashed in her mind. Flames, war, ships exploding, a woman screaming her name. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the Concord Council argued. "If this is real," said the Velkari Chancellor, "and they are mobilizing, we must respond. We must strike first." The Threx ambassador disagreed. "And risk repeating history? No, we observe. Carefully." They all knew one thing. Humans didn't just mobilize. When they moved, they did it with fire. Back in the asteroid, the child followed the blinking lights through empty halls. Screens lit up as she passed. Old Earth footage played. Cities, oceans, laughter, soldiers marching, Earth flags waving. The final images were darker. Cities on fire, alien ships in the sky, explosions, then static. At the heart of the station, a massive screen came to life. It showed Earth, blue, shining, peaceful. But then it glitched, and a red warning covered the screen. Mobilization Protocol Alpha 0 activated. A siren began to wail. The floor beneath the child vibrated. Somewhere deep in the asteroid, engines roared to life. Satellites long buried in the dust of forgotten war turned toward the stars. In a quiet control room, a long-dead console powered on. A transmission was already playing. A voice, the same one heard across the galaxy, spoke again, but this time louder, stronger, and now with something more behind it. Purpose. This is not a test. Mobilization has begun. The age of silence is over. We are still here. We are still human. And we remember. Back in the council chamber, the final decoded version of the message arrived. The room went cold. No one spoke. The Velkari Chancellor finally broke the silence. They remember. That phrase hit harder than any weapon. The council knew what came next, because if even one human remembered the war, the pain, the betrayal, The galaxy would never be the same again. Somewhere in the cold shadows of a forgotten moon, deep inside a bunker carved into stone and steel, a door unlocked with a loud hiss. Dust fell from the ceiling. Lights flickered to life after decades of silence. And behind that heavy door a tall cryochamber stood, frosted glass glowing blue. Inside the chamber a woman floated in stasis, her arms crossed over her chest, her face calm like someone lost in a dream. She didn't look old. She didn't look broken. She looked ready. Her name, written in faded letters across the pod, General Kara Dax. As the machine completed its final countdown, warm vapor filled the room. With a hiss and a burst of steam, the glass door opened. The woman gasped, her eyes flying open. She fell forward into the arms of a waiting medical bot. Her breath was shaky. Her muscles screamed from the long sleep. But her voice was strong. "Status report," she whispered. The bot's voice was clear. "You have been in stasis for 87.4 years. Earth status unknown. Human presence minimal. Mobilization protocol Alpha 0 is active." Kara sat up, her face hardening. The memories were foggy, but they began returning in flashes. Sirens, warships, betrayal, the purge. She remembered standing on Earth's final defense platform, ordering her soldiers to fall back. She remembered losing everything. "Why was I awakened?" she asked. "Because the galaxy received the signal," the bot answered. "They know, and they are watching." Meanwhile, across the stars, fleets were moving. Alien governments had begun scanning old human war zones, terrified of what they might find. But what frightened them most wasn't human weapons. It was human memory. Kara stood slowly and walked into the command room of the hidden base. It was full of dust but still alive. Screens flickered with news. Reports showed alien leaders debating in fear. Some called for war, some begged for peace. All of them said the same thing. The humans were coming back. She clenched her fists. "Good," she said under her breath. The bot handed her a small device. "You left a message for yourself before entering cryo. Would you like to play it now?" She hesitated, then nodded. The screen lit up with a recording. Her own face, younger, harder, eyes burning with rage. The past Kara stared back and said, "If you're seeing this, then we lost. But we're not gone. You are the last. You were our best. You know what to do." The message ended. Kara looked away, her jaw tight. She hadn't cried when Earth burned. She didn't cry now. But inside, something sharp twisted in her chest. "Is the warship still here?" she asked. "Yes," said the bot. "The AI is intact. It awaits your voice print." Kara made her way deeper into the bunker until she reached a massive door, locked tight with ancient codes. She placed her hand on the scanner. The metal rumbled and the door opened. Inside was a sleek black ship, dusty but deadly. Her name was written in faded white paint across the side. Warden. The ship's core lit up. Lights raced across the hull. "The AI," spoke in a deep, calm voice. "General Kara Dax, identity confirmed. Welcome back." "I need answers," she said. "I need weapons. And I need to know what the hell is still out there." The ship hummed with power. "Then prepare for launch. We have much to do, and they are already watching." Outside the hidden moon base, satellites began to shift. Cameras turned toward stars filled with unknown enemies. Alien ships were closing in. In a far-off control room of the Threxian military fleet, a young officer stared at a screen. A signal was coming from the moon, strong, fast, and untraceable. But the words chilled him to his core. "Alpha Commander reactivated. The hunt begins." He ran to report it, but it was already too late. Kara Dax stood on the bridge of Warden, now fully powered and armed. She stared into the stars, her voice steady. "They think we're weak. They think we forgot. But they don't know what's coming." Warden replied, "They will." And then, without warning, the engines roared to life. The ship blasted, out of the hidden base, leaving behind decades of silence, and heading straight toward a galaxy that thought humanity was gone forever. But they were wrong. She was awake, she remembered, and she was not alone. The stars looked quiet, but Kara Dax knew better. As Warden flew through the dead zones of old war space, the silence was not peace. It was fear. Fear left behind by a war that never truly ended. Kara stood in the command bay, watching broken satellites float by, rusted, shattered, useless now. Each one was a reminder of what had happened to her people. They didn't just want to defeat us, she said quietly to the ship. They wanted to erase us. Every city, every voice, every memory. Warden's voice replied, calm but sharp. Records show that over 99% of human history was deleted from shared galactic databases within 2 standard years of the purge. Kara clenched her jaw. They tried to make it look like we never existed. She had seen it herself. Alien forces burning libraries, vaporizing servers, planting false histories across planets. Human names removed from maps. Memorials turned to rubble. She remembered one transmission that haunted her. A Galactic Council. Members saying, if they're forgotten, they'll never return. But they had failed. And now she was flying straight into the heart of the lie. Warden brought up a map, one of the last safe coordinates before the fall of Earth. It blinked red. Vault Echo 6, the AI said. Possible survivors. Possible. Memory cache. Set course, Kara ordered. We're going to wake the past. Meanwhile, in a tall black tower on the core planet of Karenox, the Alien Council met again. The Velkari Chancellor slammed her claws on the table. Kara, Dax lives, the last commander. If she reaches any vault, the humans will rise again. The Threx ambassador looked uneasy. You said she was dead. You said they were extinct. She was dead. The Zor warlord grunted. Until we heard that cursed message. We should have bombed that sector when we had the chance. A hologram appeared in the center of their table. A warning pulsing in crimson. Alert, human command unit reactivated. Warden in flight. Find her, the Chancellor growled, and finish what we started. But they didn't know. She was already at Echo 6. The planet looked like nothing. From space, just ash, ice, and clouds that never cleared. But beneath the surface, buried under solid rock and old earth metal, was a vault. It hadn't been opened in nearly 90 years. Its defense systems were half dead, its beacon barely working. Warden landed silently, its engines humming low. Kara stepped out into the cold wind, her boots crunching on blackened stone. She moved carefully toward a steel door covered in ash. Her glove brushed off the dust to reveal a faded symbol. The old Earth flag, half-burned, still standing. This place is sacred, she whispered. With a deep breath, she placed her hand on the scanner. The machine hesitated, then beeped, accepting her DNA. The door creaked open. Inside, rows of long-dead machines lined the walls. But at the center was a glass pod, and inside it, another human. A man, older, his face lined but peaceful. A small screen above him blinked. Commander Elias Vorn, Priority Archive Unit. Warden scanned him. Vital signs, extremely low. Revival possible. Kara didn't hesitate. She pressed the activation sequence. As the pod hissed open, she stepped back. The man coughed, gasping for air, eyes blinking against the light. It took him a moment to speak. Kara, he said weakly. You remember me, she said. Good. He sat up slowly. They told me. No one survived. I thought I was the last. Not yet, she replied. We have work to do. Elias's voice grew stronger. Did the galaxy forget? Kara helped him to his feet. They tried, but I remember. And now you do too. Together they walked deeper into the vault. Past the pods were databanks, old Earth tech. Machines that stored songs, photos, names, history. Kara reached out and touched a screen. It lit up and played a recording. Children singing an Earth anthem. Her eyes watered, but she held back the tears. We're going to bring this back, she said. Not just us, all of it. Elias nodded. Then we need to wake the others. They didn't know it yet, but Echo 6 was just the beginning. Across dead systems, more vaults waited, more survivors, more memories, and the galaxy was watching in fear. Above the planet, a cloaked alien scout ship caught the signal. It sent a warning across subspace. One message: she's not alone anymore. Back in the council chamber, the Chancellor's voice cracked with rage. It's starting. I want every vault destroyed. I want that woman dead. But even she could feel it now. The silence was breaking. The humans were remembering. And once they remembered, they would rise. The galaxy held its breath. One vault had opened. One commander had returned. And now, in the quiet corners of space, machines that had slept for nearly a century were beginning to stir. The aliens didn't understand how the humans did it. They believed they had destroyed all the secret places, every bunker, every hidden base. But humans had always been good at hiding hope where no one would think to look. And hope was dangerous. Karadak stood beside Elias Vorn inside the heart of Vault Echo 6, staring at a glowing star map. Red dots pulsed across the screen. Each one was a vault, hidden and sealed by her people before the Great Purge. Some were deep in asteroid fields, others buried under toxic planets. All of them were locked, waiting for the right command to wake. Elias shook his head in disbelief. I thought we only had 4 vaults left, but this... He pointed to dozens of signals. We might not be the last. We're not, Kara said, her voice steady. We just have to get to them before the enemy does. Warden's voice echoed in the chamber. Incoming transmission. Encrypted. Human signature detected. Kara snapped to attention. Put it on. A crackling voice came through, weak but human. This is Vault Sigma 2. We heard your beacon. Systems are failing. We need help. Repeat. Humans alive. Kara didn't even wait. Set course now. As Warden launched into the stars deep in a distant sector, Vault Sigma 2 struggled to stay alive. Its power core was dying. Its food, systems were gone. Inside were 15 people, mostly scientists and medics kept in cryo for emergencies. One of them, a young woman named Dr. Lena Hain, had woken up only 48 hours ago and had been fighting to keep the others alive. She didn't know if her message would reach anyone, but then the scanner blinked. Unidentified ship approaching. Human signal verified. Tears rolled down her face. They came back. But so did something else. Unseen by Warden, a stealth alien interceptor began tracking their movements. The Galactic Council had issued a direct order. If any vault is found, destroy it. If humans resist, eliminate them. Kara knew they would come. She just didn't expect them so soon. As Warden neared Sigma 2, the stars around them suddenly lit up. Laser fire from the interceptor. Shields took the hit, but Kara was already moving. Evasive pattern, Theta, she shouted. Return fire. No mercy. Warden spun through the blackness like a knife in the dark, its weapons locking on. Missiles exploded against the enemy hull. Sparks flew. Inside, Kara and Elias held onto the rails as the ship rocked from the blast. They're trying to delay us, Elias said, checking the scanners. Reinforcements inbound. We don't have long. I don't need long, Kara growled. Just give me a clean shot. And she got it. With a roar, Warden fired its main cannon, ripping through the interceptor like paper. The explosion lit up space, and then everything went quiet again. They landed hard beside Sigma 2. Kara ran in with her pulse rifle raised, expecting resistance. But found only Lena and her weak crew waiting, wide-eyed and stunned. General Dax? Lena asked, voice trembling. Is it really you? Yes, Kara said, helping her up. And we're getting you out of here. You're not forgotten. It took time, but they evacuated all 15 survivors. They brought what data they could carry: history logs, research, songs, names, things the galaxy had tried to erase. As Warden lifted off again, Kara looked back at the vault disappearing beneath them. 2 vaults opened, she whispered, and they'll keep coming. Elias joined her, and the enemy will keep coming too. Kara nodded. Then let them. We remember now. That's what scares them the most. Back at the Galactic Council, panic had begun to spread. More alien scouts reported human vaults lighting up across several systems. Entire populations of non-human worlds were watching the news feeds, confused and afraid. A new message appeared on every galactic data channel. The vaults are awakening, the humans are not gone, prepare. The Chancellor slammed her fists on the table. We must act, now, before the old powers return. But her generals were unsure. They're not an army yet, one said. They're scattered, weak. The Chancellor stared at the screen, where a blurry image showed Kara Dax standing tall with a rifle in one hand and the Earth flag patch on her shoulder. She's not weak, the Chancellor whispered. She's history and revenge. Out in space, Warden jumped to its next destination. The stars were full of ghosts, but now those ghosts were waking up. Kara stood in the command center, watching the red dots on the map blink faster. We were silent for too long, she said. Now the galaxy will hear us again. And far, far away, in a forgotten sector no one dared to visit, a deep voice echoed from a machine buried in ice. Vault Prime unlocked. The past wasn't just returning. It was coming back armed. The stars outside the Warden's viewport looked calm, but Kara's mind was stormy. The awakening of just 2 vaults had already shaken the galaxy's fragile peace. Now, every move they made was watched. Every signal they sent was hunted. Commander, Warden's voice broke through her thoughts. Incoming encrypted message from Vault Prime. Priority level critical. Kara's heart raced. Vault Prime was the oldest, largest, and most secret vault of all. It held the deepest history of humanity and the most dangerous weapons. If it was waking, the galaxy's old fears were about to become reality. Open it, she ordered, barely able to breathe. The message flickered on the screen. A man's voice, calm, strong, and familiar, spoke slowly. This is Director Solomon Riker of Vault Prime. If you receive this, the enemy is closer than you think. We have hidden the key to humanity's survival in the shadows of the past. Find it before they do. Trust no one. The screen went dark. Kara leaned back, stunned. What did he mean by shadows of the past? Elias stepped forward. Vault Prime was built with layers of security. Some parts are physical, some digital, and some, well, legends. The shadows of the past is what the old texts called the Vault's secret defense network. Kara's eyes narrowed. We have to find it. As they plotted their next move, alarms blared suddenly through the ship. Red alert. Enemy fleet detected in nearby sector. The Galactic Council was sending everything they had. Ships poured out of hyperspace, cutting off Warden's path to Vault Prime. We're trapped, Elias said grimly. Kara's jaw tightened. No, we're going to fight. The battle was fierce. Warden darted between enemy ships, dodging laser fire and missile barrages. The ancient Earth technology on board was old, but it was clever. Warden's shields held and its weapons found their marks. Hold on, Kara shouted as the ship shook from another hit. Suddenly, the enemy fleet broke formation. From the distance, a massive warship emerged, larger and more deadly than any Kara had seen before. This is the Galactic Council's flagship, the Dread Sovereign, Elias warned. Its firepower could destroy Warden in seconds. Kara swallowed her fear. Then we have one chance. With a sharp turn, Warden dove into a dense asteroid field. The enemy chased, but their big ship struggled with the narrow spaces. Use the terrain, Kara ordered. Dodging rocks and debris, Warden slipped through cracks and caverns. The Dread Sovereign fired wildly, but its shots mostly hit the asteroids. After tense minutes, Warden reached a hidden cave system, the Coordinates for Vault Prime's secondary entrance. We made it, Kara breathed. Inside the dark tunnels, Kara, Elias, and a small team moved carefully. Their flashlights barely cut through the cold blackness. The walls were covered in strange symbols, ancient Earth language mixed with unknown signs. We're close, Elias said, scanning for life signs and traps. Suddenly, a low rumble shook the cave. Dust fell from the ceiling. Kara raised her rifle as shadows moved ahead. It's a defense system, she whispered. Automated guardians. From the darkness, robotic sentinels emerged. Silent, deadly machines programmed to protect the vault from intruders. The team fought hard, firing pulse rifles and grenades. The sentinels were tough, but Kara's team had something the machines did not: human will to survive. After a fierce battle, they pushed deeper and found a sealed door with the symbol of Earth glowing faintly. This must be it, Kara said. Elias worked on the panel, bypassing security codes. The door hissed open, revealing a large chamber filled with old computers, holographic maps, and strange devices. In the center was a pedestal with a small, glowing orb. The key, Elias said softly. Kara stepped forward. This is what Solomon Riker spoke of, the shadows of the past. As she reached to touch the orb, the room shook violently. An alarm blared, a warning signal. They found us, Elias said. The Council's fleet is close. Kara grabbed the orb and shouted, We have what we came for, move out. Rushing back through the tunnels, the team barely escaped as the cave entrance exploded behind them. Back aboard Warden, Kara looked at the orb. It pulsed with an energy she couldn't explain, but she knew it was powerful. This is more than a key, she said. It's hope. Elias nodded. And a weapon. Outside, the dread sovereign loomed, ready to strike again, but Kara was not afraid. She had the shadows of the past, and with it, a chance to bring humanity back from the shadows. The war had just begun, and the humans were ready to fight. The stars outside the Warden looked peaceful, but inside, tension filled every corner. Kara stood at the command console, her eyes locked on the blinking alerts. Something was wrong. The enemy fleet had suddenly pulled back. Too suddenly. Why would they retreat now? Elias asked, frowning. Kara didn't answer. She felt it deep inside. This was no normal retreat. Someone had betrayed them. Just then, a new message appeared on the screen. It was encrypted but human. From an unknown source, Warden's computer said. Kara opened the message. A calm, familiar voice spoke through the speakers. This is Captain Lyra Thane. If you're receiving this, you are in danger. The Council has spies within. Not all humans want to be found. Trust no one on your ship. The room fell silent. Kara stared at the screen, heart pounding. Lyra Thane, Elias said quietly. She was part of the last human fleet lost after the Great Purge. Kara's mind raced. If she was alive, and warning them, then the threat was closer than they thought. Suddenly, alarm screamed again. The ship shook violently. Sabotage. Someone's inside the ship, Elias shouted. Kara raced through the corridors, following the chaos. Lights flickered. Systems failed. The crew scrambled to respond. In the engineering bay, she found a shadow slipping away. Stop, she yelled, raising her rifle. The figure turned, a young woman with cold eyes. Why? Kara demanded. Why betray your own people? The woman smiled cruelly. Because not all humans want to fight. Some want to survive. By joining the Council. Before Kara could react, the woman vanished into the shadows. Kara's mind spun. The enemy wasn't just outside. They were inside. She gathered her closest team. We have a traitor on board. We must find her before she destroys everything. As they searched, strange things happened. Data disappeared, weapons locked, communications jammed. Trust broke down. Suspicion grew. Elias looked at Kara, worry etched deep in his face. We can't fight an enemy we don't know. Kara nodded grimly. Then we fight the unknown with everything we have. Suddenly, a distress signal came from a nearby moon. The last survivors of Vault Delta were under attack. This could be a trap, Elias warned. Or a chance, Kara said. We have to try. They set course immediately. The crew prepared for battle, but Kara's mind stayed sharp, watching for any sign of betrayal. As Warden approached the moon, shadows moved in the dark, enemy ships waiting. The battle began again. Laser fire tore through the sky. Explosions rocked the surface. Inside the chaos, Kara saw her betrayer aiding the enemy, opening shields, giving away their position. "Stop her!" Kara shouted. The crew chased the traitor through craters and ruins. She fought fiercely, but Kara caught her. "Why?" Kara demanded again. The woman spat. "Because survival means power, and power is what the council promised." Kara shook her head. "No, power without loyalty is death." She took the traitor into custody as reinforcements arrived. Vault Delta survivors were saved, but the price was clear. The war was not just between humans and aliens. It was within themselves. Back on Warden, Kara looked at the stars and whispered, "We will rise, but only if we stand together." The shadows of betrayal would not break them. Not yet. The fight for humanity's future was just beginning. The stars outside Warden's hull seemed cold and distant, but inside the ship, hope was growing. Kara stood tall on the bridge, eyes fixed on the screen. After weeks of fighting and hiding, a new message arrived. This one different from all before. "This is Commander Jarek of the Alliance of Forgotten. We know who you are. We have waited for you." Kara's heart skipped a beat. The Alliance of Forgotten was a secret group of survivors, humans scattered across the galaxy after the Great Purge. No one thought they still existed. "Is this real?" Elias asked, standing beside her. Kara nodded slowly. "If it is, this could change everything." The message continued. "We share your goal, to bring back humanity and to fight the Council's control. Meet us at the edge of the Andromeda sector. Together we are stronger." The crew buzzed with excitement and fear. This was the first real chance for allies, but could they trust a group no one had seen in decades? Kara made the decision. "Prepare Warden for jump. We're going to Andromeda." As the ship sped through space, Kara thought about the past, the war, the losses, the betrayals. The Alliance might be the key to ending it all, or it could be another trap. The journey was tense. Every shadow could hide an enemy. Every silence could be a lie. When Warden arrived at the meeting point, a fleet of ships emerged from the dark. They were old, patched, but fierce. The Alliance of Forgotten. "Welcome." Jarek's voice came over the comm. "You're not alone anymore." Kara felt a spark of hope. She answered, "Together, we will bring humanity back." Suddenly, alarms sounded. Enemy ships closed in, faster than anyone expected. "It's a trap," Elias yelled. Kara's mind raced. The enemy wanted to destroy the Alliance and Warden in one strike. "Battle stations," she commanded. The two fleets fought side by side, lasers cutting through the void. The Alliance ships, though old, knew guerrilla tactics that surprised the Council forces. In the heat of battle, Kara's ship was hit hard. Systems failed, and Warden lurched. "We can't hold much longer," Elias warned. Kara clenched her fists. "We won't fall today." With a bold move, Kara led a small team in a daring boarding action onto the enemy's flagship. Their mission: disable the main weapon. Inside the enemy ship, shadows and danger waited. But Kara and her team pushed forward, fighting through guards and security systems. Finally, they reached the control room. Kara placed explosives and sent the signal to retreat. "Go! Now!" she shouted. They escaped just as the enemy flagship exploded in a massive fireball. Back on Warden, cheers erupted. The battle was won, but the war was far from over. Kara looked at the glowing orb from Vault Prime. the symbol of humanity's hope. We've made allies. We've struck a blow. But the Council will come back stronger. Elias nodded. Then, we must be ready. Kara took a deep breath. We are the last humans, the forgotten. But soon the galaxy will remember our name. The stars outside seemed a little brighter. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in a long time it was filled with hope. Humanity was rising again. The fight was just beginning. The silence in the command room was heavy. Kara stared out at the dark space before them. The Council's fleet had gathered, more ships than anyone had seen in a century. They were coming for Warden and the Alliance. This would be the final battle. Everyone ready? Kara asked, her voice steady but low. The crew nodded, faces tight with fear and determination. They all knew what was at stake. If they lost today, humanity would be lost forever. Outside stars vanished behind the massive enemy fleet. The coldness of space now felt like the cold grip of death itself. Enemy fleet charging weapons. The sensors warned. Estimated time to attack, 3 minutes. Kara's heart pounded. She walked through the ship, looking into the eyes of every crew member. We fight for our past, for our future, for every human who ever lived. Today, we rise. As the enemy ships fired, Warden's shields flared. Explosions rocked the ship, lights flickered, and the hull groaned. Kara stood on the bridge, gripping the railing as the battle raged. The Alliance ships fought bravely, but the Council's numbers were overwhelming. Suddenly, a warning flashed. An unknown ship had slipped through their defenses and was heading straight for the orb from Vault Prime. "No!" Kara shouted. "Protect the orb at all costs." A small group of Council fighters attacked the orb's chamber. Kara and Elias led a team to defend it. Blasters fired, alarms screamed, and the fight became close and personal. The traitor from Tuidiater before reappeared, fighting fiercely alongside the enemy. Kara confronted her in a narrow hallway. "This ends now," Kara said, raising her rifle. The traitor sneered. "You don't understand power." But Kara fired first. With the traitor defeated, Kara returned to the chamber. The orb pulsed brighter, as if sensing the danger. Suddenly, the orb released a wave of energy, knocking out all enemy ships nearby. The battle paused. The Council fleet was stunned. Kara smiled. "This is our time." Using the orb's power, Warden and the Alliance pressed forward. Enemy ships exploded one by one. The tide had turned. But the fight was not over. From the shadows, the Council's supreme commander appeared, a giant warship, more powerful than all others. Kara prepared for the last fight of her life. With a rallying cry, she led the charge. Lasers blazed. Explosions filled space. Warden dove through the chaos, guided by Kara's fearless will. At the critical moment, Kara unleashed the orb's full power. A brilliant light filled the void, destroying the warship and scattering the enemy fleet. Silence fell. The battle was won. The crew cheered, tears streaming down faces long hardened by war. Kara looked at the stars, knowing the cost had been great, but humanity was alive. "Today we are no longer forgotten," she said softly. "We are the future." The galaxy had witnessed the rise of the last humans. Their story was just beginning.